Hello. Boa tarde. Foi a primeira, meu velho. Alô, Lê. Oi, Line. Vi uma menina igual a tu hoje. Raicinha. Oi, Paulinha. Olá a todos, olá a todas. Boa tarde. Alô, todo mundo. Boa tarde para vocês. Obrigada por estarem aqui. BRET HOWARD. In the area. Thank you so much, BRET. I was desperate that you're not gonna get in. Vamos embora, pessoal. Tomar um chá com BRET. Manda essa live aí. Dispara essa live para todas as pessoas que deveriam estar assistindo. O horário mudou hoje, desculpem. Eu passei o horário diferente, tá bem? Para o meu querido professor. Eu calculei com o horário da Califórnia, a culpa é minha, tá bem? Então, ficou às 11 da manhã para vocês. Perdão, pessoal. O horário do BRET é de New Jersey. Eu não calculei com todos os... Eu já tinha passado para ele a hora, ele disse que podia, agendou, e eu deixei, tá bem? Perdão. Vamos lá, escutar um pouquinho mais de Viva la Vida. Viva la Vida por David Garrett, tá bem? Só mais um pouquinho que eu quero aproveitar o BRET conosco. São 10 horas e 1 minuto. E para o BRET... E são 11 horas e 1 minuto aí, horário de Brasília. Aqui em Portugal já são 3 horas e 1. Tá bem, Aline? Torce para que a gente consiga deixar salva, tá? Manda luz pra gente. Paulinha, linda, tudo bom? Mandem perguntas, tá bem? Pratiquem aí o inglês e aí a gente vai conversando. Planejei nada, viu? Não planejei nada. Vou traduzir, vou ser a intermediária da mensagem de BRET HOWARD hoje para vocês. BRET, I didn't plan anything. I will be the intermediate voice between you and the Portuguese talkers, alright? I will call you in 1 minute. Let us just listen a little bit more of this song. Chá com Joe ficando agora em inglês também, tá bom? Vamos ver como é que isso vai funcionar. Vai ser uma experiência da gente traduzir instantaneamente. E faz um tempo que eu não traduzo. Envia, por favor, essa live agora ou depois. Sei que não é um horário conveniente, é um horário de trabalho, é um horário comercial, tá? Então eu agradeço a todo mundo que pôde e tá podendo estar aqui conosco nesse momento, tá bom? E depois eu conto com vocês para que muita gente possa escutar essa mensagem, tá? Vamos lá. Vamos escutar o BRET HOWARD. Deixa eu tirar o som aqui rapidinho. BRET, I'll call you, okay? Sorte, pessoal! BRET HOWARD!
How are you?
Ah, BRET, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm better now. I miss you so much.
I miss you too.
Oh, I'm so happy. I'm so happy that you can do that. That's an amazing news. Look, I know you saw all the messages, a lot, that I sent it to you.
That's okay.
And let me just explain to you something. This Chá com Joe or Tea with Joe, translating for English. It's a program that I'm doing since June. So I'm talking to a lot of people, and I talk to a lot of Brazilian, Portuguese, and Spanish people. All right,
Yeah.
Argentinian, Colombian, Peruvian, or Spanish people from Spain. And you are my first English talker.
Yeah.
Yes, it couldn't be different, right? So you, as my teacher, my forever, my teacher, is like my heart, my soul is it's appreciating that. So what I'm doing here is I will explain to you. You can talk whatever comes to your mind.
Okay.
Pilates teachers are here to listen to you. Listen maybe your story, your trajectory, your steps, what you do to motivate, what's Pilates for you, whatever you want to say here. We have like 50 minutes, the most, because Instagram, your tea.
Hi, my team.
Thank you. Because most of the people, they are getting motivated with that, okay? So I'm here to translate. Most of the people, they are Portuguese talkers for this program for now. So Lara's talking to you. She's so upset. She's so upset because she's not here to talk here live. So I'm here. I'm prepared to do whatever you need to, okay? And let me just, you can introduce yourself, and then I will explain to people what I just said, okay?
All right. Well, my name is BRET HOWARD, and I'm happy to be a part of this, and I'm happy to do this with you, Vanessa, because you are someone who's very dear to me. And I'm just a Pilates teacher.
Let me explain to people what you just said. Pessoal, isso é novo para mim, né? O Brett está aqui tomando chá, um profissional tão ocupado. Eu expliquei para ele que eu ia estar disponível para fazer as traduções. Eu que sempre fui, sempre amei ser sua voz aqui no Brasil, né? E traduzi-lo. Então eu expliquei mais ou menos o programa para ele, o chá com Joe, porque por mensagem fica mais difícil. O Tea with Joe. Então, expliquei como significava e coloquei, deixei nas mãos dele falar o que ele quisesse aqui sobre Pilates, sobre a sua vida, a sua trajetória, e eu me colocaria à disposição para traduzir, tá? Então, ele começou falando: olá, meu nome é BRET HOWARD, e eu fui convidado por Vanessa, eu que fui uma de suas estudantes, né? Fiz a formação do BRET HOWARD em New Jersey, e ele é minha inspiração, e ele está aqui, ele aceitou, então ele disse que ele é só um professor de Pilates. All right.
I see one of my students from Korea just joined.
Oh, really? He's gonna learn Portuguese. Um dos seus alunos da Coreia, que acabou de entrar para participar também aqui da live, disse que ia aprender português também. You can say. You can say whatever you.
Questions.
I can ask you. Okay,
Yeah.
right. People want to know. First of all, maybe what is really Pilates for you? Most of the people, they exercise a bunch of exercises, right? So we work a lot. You work a lot. If I open your Instagram, I get crazy because one day you are in South Korea, another day you're in Florence, another day you are in Japan, another day you're in Brazil. Now you're here, so I get crazy because it's a lot. So what is Pilates for you?
Pilates is, well, for me, myself, Pilates is something that I need to do for my own body, actually. And it's something that, when Joseph Pilates said that never an aspirin a day in his life, it's so true. And, as I get older, I find that I need it more and more. And, I wake up in the morning, sometimes I'm very stiff, you know, my back hurts a little bit, but all I have to do is about 10 minutes of Pilates in the morning. And not only does my body feel better, but I'm also much more centered in my mind as well.
Yeah. Eu pergunto ao Brett o que Pilates significa para ele, né? Ele que é uma pessoa que eu olho, abro o Instagram dele e eu vejo na Coreia do Sul, eu vejo no Japão, no outro dia ele está na Itália, no outro dia está no Brasil, enfim. Então, o que seria Pilates para ele, né? E ele diz que Pilates, para ele, como pessoa, Pilates é uma prática diária, ele precisa muito do Pilates diariamente. Ele fala o quanto, o próprio Joseph Pilates, naquela frase muito conhecida sobre nunca ter tomado uma aspirina nenhum dia da sua vida, então isso é muito verdade na vida do Brett. Então o Brett, ele usa não só para o corpo dele, mas para a mente dele também, né? Ele percebeu que ao longo da vida, né, ele vai ficando mais velho, então ele acorda rígido, então ele 10 minutinhos de Pilates por dia já libera, já solta não só o corpo, mas sua mente também.
You know, Pilates is great because it helps to, you know, balance your body, but you know, you're allowed to put yourself through different ranges of motion, and as you get older, you need to continue to put yourself through those different ranges of motion, and really it's a way of improving quality of life. I think about a lot of my clients who they come in and really they feel quite disabilitated. They can't do things. And, you know, when Joseph Pilates wrote his book, Return to Life, he could not have wrote it any better, because you see people that come in and, you know, when you can't do something, or when your body is aching, or when you feel like there's no hope, Pilates, you know, it brings you back to that, and you're able to do the things that you normally could do in life. You are able to do the sports and the recreations that you used to be able to do, and you feel whole again. You feel like yourself, and you feel like you're part of the world again. And that's very powerful, actually. Yeah.
Brett fala também sobre a proposta de Joseph Pilates, que a gente fala tanto aqui, né, do verdadeiro sentido do Return to Life. E nesse Return to Life você poder trabalhar o teu corpo para que tu consiga fazer as outras atividades que te fazem se sentir num todo completo, né? Preenchido devidamente. Então, poder fazer atividades recreativas, fazer tua vida pessoal ou profissional, o que seja. Então, essa seria a proposta em linhas sutis, né? Lembrar do texto inteiro vai ser mais difícil agora, mas isso que ele quer dizer, esse que é o verdadeiro motivo do Pilates.
Yes.
Okay. What do you think that really motivates you to do so much? For example, you are a Pilates in online platforms. So I know it's a lot to just film an hour of a class. It's a lot behind the scenes, right? I had the opportunity to be with you in your studio in New Jersey, the Pilates house. So I saw your routine, your personal, professional routine, and a lot of traveling, you know, for conferences and courses. And you were also at the top of some organizations. And so what really motivates you to do that?
What really motivates me is I'm a teacher. I like to share, and my parents are both educators. I'm an educator, and I believe that Joseph Pilates created something very powerful, and also something that benefits so many people. And I think, you know, the more people that can benefit from it, the better. So really my motivation is to share. You know, I didn't create it, you know, but it's something that really resonated with me. And I feel that, you know, I want to have almost like a duty to be able to pass it along and share what I've learned and inspire people to, you know, also share. You know, one of my things I tell all of my students is I don't want you, they say, I would like to be as good as you someday. And I'm like, well, one thing is I don't want you to be me. I want you to go past me. I don't want you to have me as the mark, because you can excel so much further than where I went or where I'm going. And I'm still learning myself. I'm still following a pathway. You know, every day it's different for me. Every day I find something new. So I'm not sure if this is too much. I'll say one more thing, but like sometimes my students are like, well, you know, you taught this a little different maybe 10 years ago. And I say, well, of course I've taught it differently. You know, I'm a different person. I've learned more. I can't be the same person I was 10 years ago. I'm also traveling on that pathway. And, you know, sometimes the longer I teach, the more I feel like I don't know anything.
Yeah, that's one of the most reasons that I love you so much. Let me translate to people, okay?
Yeah.
Drink your tea. Pessoal, eu perguntei para o Brett o que é que realmente o motivava, né? Dentro dessa rotina que eu conheço parte dela, né? Essa rotina de trabalho dentro do seu Pilates em New Jersey, que é o Pilates House. Então, eu perguntei que ele tem essa rotina profissional de dar cursos, dar aulas, rotina de estar em convenções, em congressos, a rotina de viajar muito, de dar aulas em plataformas online, né? Então, tudo isso, o que é que realmente motivava, né? Eu não esperava uma resposta diferente, mas a resposta dele foi muito, muito linda, como ele, que ele é um professor de Pilates, ele é professor e todo professor quer compartilhar. Como professor, ele quer compartilhar, né? To share. E ele não criou esse método, então ele se sente numa obrigação de alguém criou, deixou e ele quer inspirar e compartilhar. E uma vez que ele ele quer inspirar outras pessoas para que essas pessoas consigam dar continuidade a esse compartilhar também. E uma vez uma pessoa falou como se ele fosse a sua referência, e ele disse, você não tem que me ter como referência, você tem que tentar sempre ser melhor do que eu. Isso é o papel de um professor, né? Ele que é filho de professores também. Então, ele fala que ele é um contínuo aluno, né? Ele continua aprendendo, still learning. Então, alguém falou para ele um dia desses que ele estava ensinando diferente de alguns anos atrás. Ele falou, mas é lógico, eu sou uma pessoa diferente e eu continuo nesse papel de ir aprendendo pouco a pouco, né? Bem, e few people know that you had, not few people, but maybe there's someone here that doesn't know you had the experience with Romana Krzyzanowska, right? And a lot of people, they are so, they are unhappy because they didn't have this opportunity, and so you did. Joseph Pilates seems to us further, right? And Romana was closer, and you had the opportunity. We didn't. So if you want to talk a little bit about Romana, I would be glad.
Not a problem. Well, Romana was someone special, and like what I told you before, that's part of my duty, because I felt that, you know, Romana shared so much with us, so much that she learned. She was not someone, sometimes a lot of people feel that Romana was someone who held things tight. And I understand where that comes from a little bit, because she wanted to maintain its pureness and she didn't want it to get diluted. But when she, as a teacher, she was someone who shared so much. And, the amount of information that you would get from her was immense. And sometimes you didn't even realize what you learned from her until even later. Like sometimes I'm still teaching and I'll do something that Romana did, something that didn't even make sense to me years ago. And I go, that's why Romana did this. It's because for this type of body or this person, this is what you need to do. So her teaching was impactful, not just at the moment, but it continues to impact me. When I was there with her, it was really something special. She had her energy was amazing. I mean, here, when I worked with her, she was in her late 70s. And the things she can do was amazing. One, she was a show-off. She liked to show everyone that all the things she could do. And it's kind of amazing to see this 70-something-year-old woman, hanging upside down, she was super strong. She was, when I worked with her, I don't know if you want me to continue or if you want me to stop, but I could tell you what my experience was.
Yeah. Can you keep your thought?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let me translate to people. Eu pergunto ao Brett sobre a Romana, porque nem todo mundo teve a oportunidade de conviver com a Romana como ele teve, né? De fazer uma formação com a Romana Kryzanowska como ele teve. O Joseph Pilates já soa pra gente um pouco mais distante, mas a Romana estava ali como uma intermediária e alguns poucos profissionais tiveram essa oportunidade, né? Então eu peço para ele falar um pouco sobre ela. E aí ele fala que exatamente essa sensação dele de querer compartilhar vem muito dela, que compartilhou muito. Que ela às vezes passava a ideia, ela deixou uma ideia para alguns de que ela era muito amarrada no conteúdo e não, ela tinha uma abertura muito grande para compartilhar. E ela era uma pessoa que muitas vezes ele acompanhando, muitas coisas ele nem entendia por que ela fazia. E até hoje, ele às vezes está fazendo algo e ele lembra de algum movimento, de alguma abordagem da Romana e ele compreende por que ela fazia daquele jeito, porque era para aquele corpo que estava na frente naquele momento, né? E aí ele estava falando sobre a personalidade dela, que ela era uma pessoa muito forte, ela era um pouco amostrada, né? Gostava de se amostrar, porque era já uma pessoa mais velha e se pendurava e gostava de mostrar que tinha força. E ele está falando um pouco sobre isso, ele já havia falado sobre a responsabilidade que ela sentia que tinha para manter o mais puro possível do que ela tinha absorvido do método, né? E aí ele vai dar continuidade.
When I work with Ramana, I always say it was a true apprenticeship. And what I mean by that is, like, when I first came to work with her, Ramana worked at a studio called Drago's Gym. And Drago's was 6th floor, 57th Street. And you were told you're supposed to meet her there at, 6 o'clock in the morning. That's when she started. And actually, no, it wasn't 6. Sorry, it was 7 o'clock in the morning. 7
okay.
o'clock. Sorry. That's
big difference.
And, you're supposed to arrive there early. You're supposed to get there about 6:50 because you're then supposed to ride the elevator up with her. And so when you got there, I introduced myself. I told her I'd be working with her as one of the new apprentices. She was very nice, but very professional. And so you go up and you had to leave all your materials, like your manual and your notebook, in the dressing room. That was not allowed, on the floor. If you wanted to make a note, you could, yes, go back to the dressing room and make a note. I myself, as you know, Vanessa, I'm not really a note taker. I'm more of experiential. If I take notes, I won't remember something. If I just be there, that's where I absorb it, if I do it. But so what I mean by an apprenticeship is that we were supposed to stand against the wall, heels against the wall, back against the wall in a straight line ourselves. So we had good posture and we just observed. And so that actually I thought was really great because there was, coming from a ballet background, I could appreciate that there was a certain amount of discipline. And and you waited to be called on. And so then what Ramana would do after a while, when she saw that you were really paying attention, this is okay that I'm still going?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So really paying attention to what you, what she felt that you were paying attention to, what you should be paying attention to. She would, she'd call you over and she'd say, I want you to give this man or woman a push. And then she would, she'd stretch or push and say like this. And then she would take her hand, she'd put it on the client, your hand on top of her hand, and then her hand on top of yours, and she'd say like this. You feel that? Every time this man comes in to do this exercise, you give him this push. And so that was great because you really felt, from her in what direction you were supposed to push, how hard, what amount of pressure. And then you were expected at that moment, anytime that man came in, to not be asked, to just get up and give them that push at that time. A week or so later, you were teaching the exercise to the man. A couple weeks later, you were teaching a few exercises. And then later on, you were actually teaching the client. You were the instructor. Mind you, we were teaching for free. But that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
It was very valuable. So, but Ramana, you were teaching the client, Ramon would come over for like maybe like 2 or 3 exercises, teach the client, you know, how are the kids and the grandkids, and give a little stretch and a little pull, and then to be on to the next client. But that was so valuable for us because that is how you learn. That's a true apprenticeship. It was very experiential. And, you know, you started to develop a intelligence in your hands. You started to develop a confidence in how you spoke. Ramona, and you always knew that Ramona's eyes were on you as well. You know, you did something wrong. What are you doing over there? Hear her voice. So you also had the pressure to, one, you wanted to impress her, you know, especially from a ballet background, we're constantly wanting to please, you know, our teachers. And so you wanted to impress her, you wanted to do a good job. And it really was a great education. Sorry, that was a lot.
Drink a tea, yeah. There's Mir, it's a long time that I don't translate to. You're not getting, I'm not getting used to it, right? We used to do like short. Now you're, that's okay. I paid attention. Okay. And yesterday I was speaking in Spanish, so my mind is crazy.
Yeah.
Ok. O Brett estava dando continuidade à história da Romana, né? Obviamente, talvez eu não me lembre de absolutamente tudo e todos os detalhes, mas em geral ele fala que nesse processo de aprendizagem, de tipo estágio, né, que ele fazia no Drago's Gym, que ficava na 57, né, na 57, 57th Street, ele tinha que chegar lá às 6h50 da manhã, porque o horário que a Romana chegava era às 7 da manhã. E ele tinha que chegar 10 minutos antes para que eles pudessem subir no elevador junto com a Romana que já estava, que ia subir nesse horário. Então, ela vinha de uma experiência do balé, né? Então toda aquela disciplina era colocada em prática. Eles, quando chegavam, os estudantes tinham que ficar contra a parede, em pé, observando o movimento do estúdio, né, para aprender. E por mais cansativo que fosse, isso para ele dava um senso de disciplina muito grande e de atenção, de observação realmente. Assim ela conseguia perceber onde é realmente que eles estavam prestando atenção, se eles estavam ou não atentos, né? Então o que eles ficavam fazendo, eles observavam primeiro, era um processo de aprendizagem muito na prática. O próprio Brett fala que ele é uma pessoa que aprende na prática, ele não aprende só escrevendo, ele aprende na prática, e isso para ele foi muito bom, porque a Romana pegava um cliente que estava fazendo aulas, pegava a mão dele, por exemplo, do aluno, pegava a mão dela e fazia o hands-on, que ele percebesse qual era o formato do exercício e a correção naquele aluno que ele deveria fazer. Então ele fazia aquilo e ficava todas as aulas, ele tinha que pegar aquele aluno que fazia aquele exercício. Isso progredia para depois fazer 2 ou 3 exercícios, até que um dia chegava a dar toda uma aula para esse cliente. Mas era todo um processo que se ia adquirindo com responsabilidade e tal. E sempre com a voz dela, ela via tudo dentro desse estúdio, ela estava do outro lado da sala e ela sempre perguntava o que é que vocês estão fazendo lá do outro lado da sala, né? E isso que ele conta com uma lembrança muito forte da voz dela, né? All right. I did my best.
Not a problem. I will stop like we usually do it.
All right. Not a problem.
Right.
I did the best of the whole idea.
Not a problem. So another example was Ramona had me teach actually not her current daughter-in-law, but her ex-daughter-in-law, her son's ex-wife, who still came into the studio and worked.
Oh, let me just say, son's ex-wife. Okay. The granddaughter, right?
Yes, her daughter-in-law.
Yeah. A Romana também fez com que o Brett ele desse aula para nora dela, tá bem? Então o Brett tinha essa convivência também, o que fez com que ele aprendesse, porque ela botava muita pressão, que eu não falei da vez anterior, então essa pressão causava nele um sentimento de responsabilidade, de querer aprender mais.
So her daughter-in-law was a very one of the most famous ballet dancers ever. Her name was Suzanne Farrell. Her name is Suzanne Farrell. She's still alive. And she had double hip replacement, and when I worked with her, and so Romana said, "I'm going to have you teach Suzanne," and I said, "Oh my God, that's Suzanne Farrell." I didn't say it out loud, but in my head I said it, and you can imagine how nervous I was.
Yeah, ele conta sobre o nervosismo que foi ter que dar aulas para essa nora da Romana, que era Susan Farrell, uma bailarina muito, mas muito famosa, e que tinha feito a substituição, né, dos dois quadris, né? Então ela tinha feito cirurgia dos dois quadris, então imagina o nervosismo para ele de ter que fazer isso, né?
So, I worked with her, and the funny thing is, obviously this was, the mid-90s. Suzanne Farrell had been doing Pilates for a very long time. So I was teaching her, but I always look back in it and say, she was really teaching me. She was so sweet, and she'd go, "Oh, that's really good. I like the way you do that. Maybe push a little more like that. That makes me feel even a little bit more better." And it's funny because that's how it was there. The clients actually taught us a lot, because a lot of the clients had been doing Pilates, some of them even with Joseph Pilates.
Yeah. Brett fala do quanto ele dava essa aula nos anos 90 para Susan Farrell, né? E o quanto ele acredita que ela ensinou mais para ele, né, essa nora da Romana, mais para ele do que ele para ela, porque ela sempre dizia, como todo cliente, né, que tinha lá no Dragon's Gym, eu gostei dessa forma que você segurou, eu gostei dessa correção, eu gostei dessa força que você impôs, ou seja, feedbacks que os clientes passavam, né, porque alguns deles tinham tido experiências não só com a Romana, mas inclusive com o próprio Joseph Pilates no Dragon's Gym, então essa experiência foi fantástica.
Sometimes you'd have a client who worked with Joseph Pilates, and he would say something opposite that Romana said. He's like, don't do what she said. This is how he did it. Put me like this. And you're in that predicament, like, oh my God, do I do what he said, or do I do what she said? And of course you had to do at that moment what they said, but you're very careful to make sure she didn't see it.
Oh my God. What a situation.
Yes.
I wish I could have had this opportunity. That's amazing. Brett fala de uma experiência de, inclusive, alguns clientes que foram da época do Joseph Pilates e que eles faziam exatamente o contrário, né? A Romana havia dito para fazer de uma forma e eles diziam, não escutem o que ela está dizendo, porque ele fazia de tal forma, me empurre dessa forma. E ele ficava confuso, nervoso, porque não sabia se escutava a Romana, se escutava o que a Romana havia dito, se escutava o que o Joseph havia dito, ele ficava confuso. Naquela hora fazia o que ele achava que o que Joseph havia dito e esperava que a Romana não escutasse.
I saw one of my translator who translates for me in Korea just joined, so I just want to say hi, Hannah.
Who is?
Vanessa H. Park.
It's another Vanessa?
Yeah.
I can't believe that. I'm jealous. Hi, Vanessa. I'm Vanessa. Nice to meet you. I love translate that person. That's amazing. A gente fala sobre a Vanessa, ela é uma tradutora para ele na Coreia e eu também sempre o traduzi aqui aí no Brasil, né? E assim é. Brett, I know you have a lot to say about Romana, for example. She said that Vanessa is her Spanish name.
Yes.
I don't want to know how is the Korean name because I cannot say it. It's Hannah.
Hannah. Yeah.
It's easy.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice to meet you, Hannah. What do you have to say about other elders, let's say? Because I know you had experience with them, and I know they had so much to compliment and to your work. I know your work very well, and I know you have a package of so many good stuff. So if you can talk a little bit about that. Let me just translate my question.
Yeah, not a problem.
eu pergunto desde já para o Brett sobre se ele pode falar um pouco sobre outros elders, né? Sobre outros anciões, discípulos do Joseph, porque eu conheço o seu trabalho e eu sei que ele tem experiências com outros profissionais dentro desse pacote de trabalho que ele acredita, né? Além da romana. Então ele vai falar um pouco sobre isso.
You know me, Vanessa. I like I said earlier, knowledge is never ending, and you have to continue your education, and you have to get many different perspectives, points of view, and that's how you build yourself. You have to see things from many different angles, and so I made it a point to work with some of the other elders to see what their perspective was, to see what their experience was with Joseph Pilates. I'll continue, but I'll let you translate.
Ok, thank you. O Brett, ele fala, e eu conheço, eu sei disso, e muito do que eu acredito vem dele, e vem dessa forma dele pensar e de ter me ensinado também, mas ele fala que o conhecimento nunca é suficiente, né? Ele foi aprender também com outros profissionais com pontos de vista diferentes, com experiências diferentes, com trajetórias diferentes para que ele pudesse enxergar o todo por diferentes ângulos, né? E visto de diferentes perspectivas, poder construir a sua forma e a maneira que ele acredita, né?
So, the funny thing is, in the end, they're all of them were saying the same thing. They might have just had a different way of explaining things, but in the end, everyone was saying the same. And that's helpful as a teacher because every client is going to be different. And you want to be able to communicate to your client in a way that they can understand. So you have to have many different ways of communicating. And you have to have many different approaches. So for me, I thought it's very important to gain that knowledge and to hear of their experiences, so that makes me more helpful as a teacher, because in the end, that's what we are. We're teachers. We're trying to help the client that is in front of us, and that's what I do every day. I work with clients, as you know, maybe like 9-10 hours a day, and that's my job, is to have a client come in. They're not feeling so great, but when they leave, or even if they do come in healthy, they always leave feeling better than they did when they came in.
Perfect. I know that. I know your rhythm, and I know people really get out of that room much better. I used to see them getting in and getting out, and such a difference. Thank you for this mission. Thank you for doing that. Let me translate them. Pro Brett, dentro do seu trabalho, né, ele se visualiza, né, ele é professor, ele dá de 9 a 10 aulas de Pilates por dia, né? Então ele percebeu, conhecendo abordagens de outros profissionais, ele percebeu que todos diziam a mesma coisa, talvez com diferentes formas de se comunicar, diferentes formas de se chegar, de corrigir. E como as pessoas são diferentes, como cada corpo é diferente, cada cliente é diferente, isso o ajudou muito a saber se comunicar com cada cliente de maneira diferente. Então, saber se comunicar de uma forma para que ele entenda e se sinta melhor. Saber se comunicar com o outro cliente para que ele entenda e se sinta melhor. Então, o objetivo dele, no fundo, é fazer com que todos os clientes entrem na aula de uma forma e saiam melhor, né? E aí eu concordei, porque eu tive a experiência, muitas vezes, de estar no estúdio dele, e fazer aula com ele, realmente, esse é o sentimento.
So the more you know, the more experience that you open yourself up to, the better it makes you as a teacher. It allows you to serve your clients much better.
Sim, e ele complementa, né? Quanto mais conhecimento você tem, mais você consegue servir o seu cliente para fazer com que ele se sinta melhor. E é exatamente isso que ele falou, é você continuar aprendendo para que você continue sabendo como fazer abordagem com cada profissional, né? Cada cliente, perdão. All right, so let's see. Kathy Grant had something that I really love about her, that we call pre-Pilates, before the 100, right? Few people know about that. And I use a lot because maybe clients that comes to me, they really need that perception before any 100, let's say. I wish I could maybe just hear or listen to your opinion about, how can we use that with responsibility, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, Kathy Grant had the before the 100. Romana had pre-Pilates. Eugen had pre-Pilates. I think all of them had some different form of pre-Pilates. And the funny thing is, when you looked at some of Kathy's work, some of it, in a way, was some of the exercise that could even be a little bit more labor intensive than the exercise itself. But what she was doing was she was breaking down concepts of the exercise. And how I look at pre-Pilates is that they're stepping stones. And if you think of building a building, you have to have a very solid foundation to build on. That's what pre-Pilates is. You can't build a tall building without a strong, foundation. And, I look at Pilates as skills and mastery of skills. And sometimes there might be an exercise that has 3 or 4 components or skills in it. Maybe then what you have to say, okay, this client of mine is not executing the exercise because this skill needs to be developed more. And so then what you can do is you can deconstruct the exercise, focus on one skill, master that skill for them, focus on another skill, master that skill for them. Later, when you put all those skills together, they're doing the end exercise that you wanted them to do. And that's how I approach pre-Pilates. They're actually deconstruction of a larger skill.
That's amazing. I love that concept. So I will translate my question because I forgot, and then you have time to have your tea if you still have it. Eu pergunto ao Brett eu tô ficando louca. Eu pergunto ao Brett sobre o trabalho muito conhecido, tanto da Romana quanto da Kathy Grant, do pré-Pilates e do antes do 100, né? O before the 100. E quando eu pergunto sobre isso, e assim, de que maneira a gente pode utilizar, e eu uso muito, porque a maioria dos meus clientes vem com necessidades muito especiais e a gente verifica que isso é muito útil, né? E ele falou que é muito usado. E para ele, qual a importância disso? É você lembrar que Pilates é algo que trabalha com as habilidades e você ir masterizando essas habilidades. Então, como construir com tijolinhos, né, uma parede. Então, para você construir e colocar esses tijolinhos, você tem que fazer uma boa base. Então, se você não tiver uma boa base, você não consegue colocar os tijolinhos de forma adequada. Então, é necessário que você tenha uma fundação sólida. Então, a importância dos exercícios do pré-Pilates ou do Before the 100 são, na verdade, desconstruir o exercício para que você foque em uma das habilidades. Aquele exercício tem 3 habilidades principais, vamos dizer. Você foca em uma das habilidades até o ponto que você masteriza as 3 habilidades e vai se dar conta de que você está fazendo o exercício fechado, completo, por exemplo, né? Essa que seria a importância. Perfect. Do you want to say anything that is behind the scenes and with no me questioning, or prefer that I ask you?
You can ask me some questions, or if anyone had asked a question, I can answer one of their questions. Yeah.
Okay. We have, only for you to know, 15 minutes to Instagram cut us off. Okay.
Okay. So we have
because we have only an hour total. Okay. So that's why I asked you that. I will ask people to leave some question, so then I can translate the question, okay. And then we finish the line of thoughts. Okay.
Yep.
Pessoal, o Brett, a gente tem 15 minutinhos para terminar. Então, o Brett, ele abre para alguma pergunta que ele possa responder, lembrando que o tempo é curto. Então, se vocês quiserem colocar a pergunta em português ou inglês, eu posso traduzir para ele. E, de toda forma, a gente vai aqui fazendo já uma construção para um final, porque o tempo fica mais curto, uma vez que a gente pausa para as traduções, tá bom? Enquanto vai chegando aí, a gente vai colocando as perguntas. Larsen, please start a new conversation. I don't know how's your time. I'm free. I'm off.
Unfortunately, I can't.
I know. I have a secret for you. When I said to you it was 10 a.m., I got confused because 10 a.m. is in California. For your time, it should be 1 p.m. And then that the whole Brazil changes the time that they are used to since June, just so then we could have you here. So that's amazing. Thank you. Okay. I have a question from Adriana Codebella, okay? Okay. Adriana, what do you think about the when we, how can I say that, when we put some elders in a pedestal as they are gods, as there are not other people, other elders, and as they, how can I say that, and other people that, for example, because I forgot the word. Sorry about that. What do you think about people that put some elders as in a pedestal as gods, pretending there are not other elders that also learn with Joseph Pilates, let's say? What do you think about that?
Well, one, no one's a god.
Yeah.
But two, I think, I can't really fault certain people because I think a lot of people who do that, they studied with these people. And so they do have a lot of reverence for this person. Yeah. And you're always going to have a lot of reverence for the person that you train with. I think that all the elders did contribute. For me, if I'm going to talk about my experience, I did train with a lot of the elders myself. But of course, I trained more with Romana Krzyzanowska than I did with anyone else. She's the one who had the most impact for me. She's the one who, for me, that I spread her message more because it resonates more with me because I was with it more. I learned so much from Kathy. I think she actually was one of the best teachers that have been around there, the way in terms of her approach of teaching. But also, I feel that everyone has to find different teachers anyways because someone's going to resonate with you more than somebody else, even depending on personality. And so there's so many different factors to it. I do think that everyone should have their, moment. And I do believe that everyone should be rewarded for their contributions. But then we also have to think about, their roles. And let you translate that, and then I'll talk about different roles of the elders that, left.
Ok. Ele ainda está respondendo a primeira pergunta, a pergunta, mas ele deu uma pausa para eu traduzir. Ele acha que é muito natural, ele não culpa as pessoas que fazem isso, mas ele acha que é muito natural que as pessoas tenham uma certa reverência, né? Façam isso com os profissionais que aprenderam, né? Ele, por exemplo, talvez ele faça com a Romana, porque foi a discípula de Joseph que ele mais passou tempo, que ele mais aprendeu. É natural que se faça isso. Também é muito importante que a gente procure outros profissionais, como ele já falou previamente, para que a gente possa aprender mais, né? Mas ele sente que isso é muito necessário que você tenha alguém assim também como referência, né? Em sua vida, em sua carreira. Yeah, translator.
So, I'm going to explain it in a different way, then I'll get back to the actual question. And so this goes back to, the importance of training with many different people. So I tell all of my students to, work with other people as well, because you're going to get it, like I mentioned before, a different experience, a different perspective, a different way of explaining something. And, everyone's experience who I train with, all of my fellow apprentices who train with Romana, we had a different experience. We had different things that Romana focused on for us. And so we offer different things. Sometimes I will say, if you really want to know about, how to work on the foot corrector or the toe exerciser, I can teach you, but, maybe you might want to work with Kathy Ross. She worked more on it than I did. Or Mijo worked more in the armchair than I did. I worked on more on different things than other people. So, I feel like it was the same also with Joseph Pilates, that they all had something different to contribute because they all had different experiences with them. And I'm going to follow up with this to kind of loop it back, but I'll let you translate that.
Ok. E ele também explica o quanto até quem aprendeu com a própria Romana tiveram diferentes percepções, e ele percebe isso com seus próprios colegas que fizeram formação e que tiveram toda essa construção e apoio da Romana, por exemplo. Pode ser que ele tenha tido uma experiência com a Romana muito grande e possa ensinar o foot corrector, e a Cat Ross Nash possa trabalhar muito mais com a cadeira, por exemplo. Então, ele faz a mesma referência do quanto os outros elders, eles podem ter tido a mesma percepção do próprio Joseph, como eles tiveram da Romana diferentes experiências também, né?
So, but then we also have to remember, the different elders, their contributions, and also the level of contribution. And, they all contributed, and, they all contributed to their students passed that on. I do tend to put Romana on a high pedestal, not that anyone else is any lower than hers. But, you have to still realize if it was not for Romana, Pilates probably would not be here, though, because she did carry the torch. And, Romana, Kathy Grant, they were friends. Romana and Romana and Kathy Grant were Corolla's assistants. They all worked and knew each other. And, I think they still had an appreciation for one another, but even back then, a lot of times if someone needed springs, they go to Romana to get the springs, or, she's the one who supplied it. They had a respect for her role. And so I think that it's not, I don't like to put people on different pedestals, but we have to also remember the contributions that people did make. And Romana did make a very large contribution, and I do feel without her, Pilates probably would not be here. So that's why I do put her in high regard.
O Brett, ele costuma dizer que ele coloca realmente a Romana num pedestal alto, não significando que os outros estão num pedestal baixo, né? Simplesmente valorizando a sua contribuição com o método e para o método, como se ele pudesse, inclusive, nem existir como ele existe, se ela não tivesse feito o trabalho que ela fez. Isso a gente deve um imenso respeito e agradecimento, né? Ela realmente carregou a tocha, como ele fala, né? Por exemplo, a Romana, a Carola, a Katy, elas eram conhecidas entre si, elas eram colegas entre si, né? Mas se alguém precisava de alguma mola, se alguém precisava de uma assistência, recorriam à Romana, porque existia ainda com elas, e entre elas esse respeito à Romana, porque sabiam da sua contribuição e sabiam do seu papel. Existia esse respeito por esse papel dela, né? Então, acho que é mais ou menos por aí. Perfect, thank you. Yeah, this is a discussion I think is worldwide, and people get curious sometimes, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if we have time to answer another one, because we have maybe 2 minutes for the answer, but it's a question about what do you think about private classes only, or it's possible to do groups also?
Okay.
2 minutes.
2 minutes. Well, you know how I feel. I do believe. All right. So the process has changed over than what it used to be. It used to be that people came in, they did privates, but the goal was to have them actually be able to do it themselves. And then there was teachers on the floor that would go around and make corrections, help them guide it through. That changed to a little bit more of a private setting, and now it's changing more into a class setting. I personally like working more one-on-one. We don't allow people at my studio to take group class until we feel that they are ready. And one, it's because we don't want people to injure themselves. We also want people to be able to get the most impact out of the session. And if they don't have enough information or enough body awareness, they're really not going to get as much out of it as they should. And they could also get hurt. And it's kind of, I feel like it's a little bit of a waste of their money. They're actually, even though they may pay more for private, they're actually going to, say if they paid less for a class, they actually might be, actually paying more in a way for the class because they're not getting as much out of it.
Exactly. Perfect, the answer. Vou traduzir rapidinho para dar tempo da gente fazer mais algum comentário com o Brett. Eu conheço o esquema no estúdio, o esquema de trabalho dele, e ele responde que nos tempos antigos, no estúdio de Joseph, as aulas eram privadas, mas com o intuito da pessoa poder entender o sistema e fazer sozinho, de forma autônoma, independente. No estúdio dele, por exemplo, o trabalho é no one-on-one, no privado, para poder ir para algum grupo, como se fosse a intenção prévia de poder fazer o sozinho, mas não existe esse trabalho autônomo, mas muita coisa mudou, né? Como ele explica. Ele fala também que às vezes a pessoa pensa em pagar menos no grupo, porque sai mais barato do que pagar para uma aula individual, mas ele às vezes está pagando mais caro, porque ele não vai conseguir sacar tudo de bom que poderia sacar se estivesse fazendo no privado, né? Então é um barato que sai caro às vezes, e sempre na prevenção de não se machucar, que é o lema dele, né? Brett, Lara is getting crazy. She wants me to read her, I don't know where. Hold on. Brett, do you know that I love you and that you are my inspiration? Yeah, I can listen to your voice, Brett, almost 24 hours a day because she's listening to all your classes, I need to say that.
Well, tell her that I miss her and I love her a lot.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much, Brett.
Thank you.
We have a minute and a half to finish.
I hope that people were able to walk away with something, and this is a really great platform. It's hard because I'm focusing on you actually when I'm talking, but everyone, I see a little thing pop up, and it's nice to see people who I recognize their Instagram handles, people I've trained in Brazil or in Spain or in South Korea. I see a few actually, so I love that, that's the nice thing about technology. There's some things I don't like about it, but that's one of the nice things that I think it helps to provide.
Yeah, I'm really glad. Thank you so much. There's no way this could start without you. So it's my first experience doing in English. Thank you so much. I love you so much. You are also my inspiration and my inspiration. You're my master.
I hope to see you next October.
Yes, you will. I hope being your voice.
Yes, I hope so too.
Yeah, thank you so much. Maybe I will have a few seconds to translate very quick. Ele está muito feliz de ter participado disso, é uma grande plataforma, ele não gosta tanto de internet e coisas muito modernas, mas ela é útil para muita coisa, e ele reconheceu muita gente da própria, da redes sociais, né, pessoas que ele treinou no Brasil e etc. Então ele agradece por todos aqui, e que ele possa ter agregado algo para alguém, tá bom? Então é isso. Agradeçam na página, na última foto do Brett, agradeçam a ele, tá bem? A participação. Thank you so much. Love